You know, an inventory list, it's usually pretty dry, right? Just a list of stuff. But what if that list was for outfitting a temple on a scale that's almost impossible to imagine? Well, today we're taking an ancient inventory from King Solomon's time and turning it into a story of insane craftsmanship, divine architecture, and just mind-blowing devotion. And it all kicks off with one huge question.
I mean, that's the big one, isn't it? It's not about just picking out some nice furniture. It's about creating a space that feels worthy of the divine. And as you're about to see, the answer to that question involves materials and sizes that are just, well, they almost defy belief.
All right, so let's start our tour where all the public rituals would have happened, the outer courtyard. This place was all about two things: its main material, bronze, and the absolutely colossal scale of everything in it. Seriously, it was like a realm built for giants.
Okay, so picture this. You walk into this huge courtyard, and the first thing you see is this enormous basin made of cast bronze, and it's simply called the sea. It wasn't just for show. This thing was the functional and spiritual heart of the entire outdoor area. And its size? Its size is just staggering. To really get your head around this, let's put it in modern terms. The text says it was 10 cubits from rim to rim. That's about 15 feet across. I mean, think about the room you're in right now. Chances are this thing wouldn't even fit inside it. It was this massive, circular structure of polished bronze, just gleaming in the sun. And its capacity? Oh, its capacity was just as huge. The source says it held 3,000 baths, which, for us, is over 17,000 gallons of water. To give you some perspective, that's about the same as a modern backyard swimming pool. So yeah, this wasn't a basin. It was basically a man-made lake. And the details on this thing, wow. This giant structure sat on the backs of 12 bronze bulls, all of them facing outwards. Its rim wasn't just a flat edge. No, it was carefully crafted to look like a delicate lily blossom. And even though its main job was for the priest's ritual washing, it was a total masterpiece of art from top to bottom. And the sea wasn't the only thing out there. It was flanked by 10 other big bronze basins, 5 on each side. Now, these were the real workhorses of the courtyard. They were used for the very practical, very sacred job of rinsing the offerings for the ceremonies. Every single piece had a purpose. So what you have here is this really powerful contrast. The outer courtyard is all about this immense, functional, public-facing bronze. But the moment you step inside the temple itself, everything changes. The whole material palette shifts. Let's head into the inner sanctuary. We are now leaving the world of bronze and entering a sanctuary of pure gold. Inside the temple proper, the entire vibe shifts. The scale gets more intricate, the light is way more dazzling, and the material itself signals a whole other level of holiness. And the first thing that just blows you away is the sheer quantity of gold. Imagine the flickering light from 10 golden lampstands and 10 golden tables, 5 of each lining the walls, creating this corridor of shimmering, moving light. And then add to that 100 gold sprinkling bowls, all of them gleaming. This wasn't just a touch of gold, it was like being inside it. But this wasn't just bling for the sake of it. No, behind all that opulence was a deep sense of purpose. You had the golden altar for incense, the tables for the sacred bread of the presence, the lampstands meant to burn forever. Even the tiny little tools, the wick trimmers, the tongs, the dishes, they were all solid, pure gold. And the final touch? The doors leading into the most sacred space of all, the most holy place, were also made of gold. Okay, so we've got all these incredible objects of bronze and gold. But where did they come from? I mean, how are they even made? The inventory list actually gives us a peek into the monumental human effort that went into this, all led by one master artisan. The text actually gives us a name, Huram-Abi. He was the master craftsman, the one responsible for the temple's most complex and iconic bronze works. He was the artist and the engineer who had to figure out how to turn these grand plans into physical reality. And you gotta understand, this guy didn't have a little workshop in the back. No way. His foundry was the entire plain of the Jordan River. The text says the king had these massive bronze pieces cast right in the ground using immense clay molds. We're talking about heavy industry on an ancient epic scale. This line from the source material, it just says it all. It perfectly captures the scale of this whole operation. They used so much bronze for this one project, for the pillars, for the sea, for the basins, for all the tools, that they simply gave up trying to weigh it. It was, quite literally, an unweighable amount of bronze. So, after all of Huram-Abi's incredible work was done and everything was installed, you'd think that's it, right? But there was one last crucial step to consecrate the space. See, this project wasn't just about making new things. It was also about honoring the past.
Yep, even after creating a literally unweighable amount of new bronze and a whole sanctuary of new gold, Solomon then brings in all the treasures his own father, King David, had set aside for this very purpose. This final act was about layering treasure on top of treasure, connecting the new temple to the legacy of the past. So let's just pull all this together. What did we see? We saw a project built on a superhuman scale. We saw it was all done with masterful, breathtaking craftsmanship. But it wasn't just opulence for its own sake. Every single item had a sacred job to do, all coming together into a treasure so vast its weight couldn't even be measured. And that really brings us to the final thought, doesn't it? When you get past the numbers and the materials, you're left with a question. An unweighable amount of bronze, a sanctuary made of pure gold, every single detail meticulously crafted. What does this incredible, almost obsessive attention to detail really tell us about the nature of devotion itself? Now that is something to think about.